Hey, welcome to another episode of Becoming a TechnoWizard. And so freaking sorry. I don't know what's up with my energy levels and everything like that. I just been ugh. But I ain't been doing nothing. Been working on my resume, and I'm gonna show y'all that today. So here we go. All right. So been working on a lot of different resumes. I started out with uh started creating these before I was really a designer, you know. Before I was trying to get some jobs as like maybe in HR or in operations or something like that, and you know just messing with these different types of. This one I made almost completely myself. This one I pretty much stole from one my friend's design that he had. Um, but this one I know it's a lot, but there's some meaning behind here, right? Again, this is before I was really a designer. But my purpose here is like make something different, make something unique, put as much information on there as possible, right? um, so yeah, it was in the very beginning of like my course here, and all I knew about visual design is just like hierarchy and stuff like that. Wasn't really paying attention to too much other stuff. Just wanted to put as much information as there as possible, as well as make it like flashy so that you remember what you see. But yeah, it's a lot. I actually like this here because it's unlike the typical bar chart or something like that that was kind of meaningless when you put like, hey, I know this skill and it's like put like 4 out of 5 stars or something like that. That's kind of meaningless. But this one to me, the intention was for this to be more meaningful because it shows you how long I've been, doing a certain skill. And I would think, this would be more interesting. And this, I know it's a lot here, but this is not really meant to be read for humans. I put it in like the draft, but basically this is meant to be read by machines. So if I put in an ATS tracking system, just so they can pick up on all these different things I'm into. Um, but yeah, it's a lot. So this is definitely a more minimalistic design, just different color. So now started redoing it a couple of days ago. I was like, I need to focus on, specific, just these specific things, I limited myself to saying, hey, it's going to be one bullet point per experience, per job I've been to, list out some key skills. So instead of like listing out a bunch of skills I'm used to, list out the key, what I think my greatest skills are. So that's what I wanted to do here. Just messing with different formats. But I want to also include like icons. I got that from somebody else's resume. I saw they have icons on there, other places they worked, and I like that. It adds a good amount of visuals to make it interesting to look at without making it too much. And it's useful, so more of the type of places you've been to. And but the two column system is more interesting, so I've been playing around with that. It's different fonts as well. So this font is Stellar. I found that font when I was working on my I showed you all on my personal brand board. I do like the Stellar thing. It does have this problem though. Um, like it looks a little. Oh no, this is Able. Where is it? There we go. It does get a little like stuck. I mean not stuck, but a little squished together. Like the line spacing between lines isn't too good, but it still looks nice. I think. Um, Gonna be looking for other fonts, but for now, I think this is a good one to stick with. But yeah, um, kind of didn't show all the different things I went into between these two iterations, but for the most part, I basically went from here to here, just bringing together all these different elements, putting into one, and it's like, oh, this actually looks really nice. It's simple, straightforward. It brings your eye, to different things. Like Like a big problem I have with visual design is that I'm I think my big problem with visual design is getting colors right. Even though I know color theory, it's like I don't know, my personal taste or style or whatever of colors is kind of different than usual. And in general, I'm just more interested in like 3D things and just new innovative designs. So messing around with like minimalistic stuff is just like so boring to me. And figure that stuff out to keep it traditional, but keep it, but put some piece of me into it too. So yeah. But yeah, I added this like pretty late, and I actually like it because it shows, some of my own personal interests. What my favorite parts of design, my favorite, technology and hobbies and stuff like that. So I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, I've just been messing around with this, messing around with layouts. Like this is not really on a layout too much, but then I did put it on the layout. And I was like, oh, it's a lot cleaner. Moved it back from the edge a little bit. I heard that, one of the things that makes visual design really good is that the edge of the what's the word? Composition. Like the content should be further away from the edge of the composition than they are from each other. This isn't exactly not that because this is pretty far. Well, this is not. So it's not perfect, but I couldn't really squish it in too much more without like, you know, having to mess around with all these uh, um, personal statements or power statements and stuff like that. But yeah, I have a look. I usually don't put something like this here, but this is a lot of places say, hey, put a little thing here, little sentence or paragraph, short paragraph about like your professional goals, so people get to know you more. So hope that this serves that purpose. But one thing I noticed is that even though this does draw your eye, first of all, this like use of shadow. I use this because in my personal brand board, I use like a shadow to make it look like a 3D effect, which is fine when you have like a large, like a box or something like that. But for font, it doesn't really look right. It looks kind of blurry and unclear. Um, but a problem I realize is that it kind of doesn't lead your eye here. And I think this is one of the most important things of the resume. Like this is my key. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I think I'm really good at. Um, it's fine if people look at this and this, but this is like my design stuff, right? And set in an interesting way. So it's not just a typical, I use Sketch, I use Figma, blah, blah, blah. I think I worded this in a way that makes it seem interesting, that people would be interested to want to learn more. At the same time, they would see this as valuable, hopefully. um, so like for this first one, successful making innovations accessible, magical. So I want people to know that yeah, I'm more into. I'm not just interested in building like being a pixel pusher. I want to be on like a more strategic use of and a more almost like a management uh, thing. And I'm familiar with lean methodologies because I've been in startups. We had to move fast and use limited resources and stuff like that. And this next one is um, kind of like my storytelling chops of being able to do research and synthesize and turn it into something that people would want to read more about and want to know more about. And then communication again with the more the management side of, hey, I can present these things, I can present our designs to other people, to stakeholders and stuff like that. And I think it's an important skill that not a lot of designers really mention, but it's very important because from what I've seen, um, a lot of product design is not simply sitting in Figma all day. It's communicating with other teams. It's being in the conversation. Um, so I want to show that I have interest and skills in that field. So yeah, um, messing around with making this more apparent. So got my little 3D box in there. Use that shadow effect. It was a good use of it, and I still use like a small slight outline for these letters here, just to make it pop out a little bit more. I couldn't do too much because then again it will appear a little bit blurry, a little bit too much. um, but just barely, it kind of draws your eye, to these things. So hopefully it's not seen as like garish or something like that, but it's tasteful, it's elegant, you know. Um, there's a purpose to the color, to the outline color. It's like it draws your eye into these sections more than just, you know, if it was, you know, simple kind of, because without the outline, it kind of blends in a little bit, you know, with the other titles and stuff like that. So so yeah. I was just messing with different colors here, gold versus blue, but I do like the gold. It looks pretty nice, but the blue really stands out. Well, it's just more me. I like blue. Maybe not this shade of blue. Like I personally like a little darker blue, but I think this blue stands out more. So might as well. And I used it in my brand board. Um, and yeah, I tested around in black to see, hey, if somebody prints this out and they don't have color, what would it look like? And it looks really nice. Like I might just keep it black by default. It just pops really well. And I know these are people's um logos, so I can't really do anything about that. But I'm pretty sure even with grayscale, they'll look okay. But yeah, I ended up adding one more because I realized reading, because Flatiron gives you a resume kind of tips worksheet, says, hey, include this, do that. And I realized I can use my client project as a professional experience because it really was like a real job. Like I was talking to, like my instructors didn't really tell us what to do. You know, we had to, you know, just do the whole project. We talked to the client, got the understanding of what they wanted to do for their project, talked to users, interviews, all this stuff, you know, a whole thing. So I was like, yeah, might as well include that here. And I like their logos. They have a really nice logo and add some more color to this page. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it ended up being pretty good. Uh this the reason why I bolded these specific words and not just the first sentence, because the first sentence is kind of looking weird to me. Just didn't, I don't know why, but just didn't really fit. But building nothing kind of feels like a waste. Um, and I already have this. I established this like pattern of building like important things to titles and stuff like that. So I figure I'd do that here as well. Um, yeah, I also made these like a little bit fainter. Hopefully, it's not too hard to read. I think it's still readable. But I wanted to show because again, you know, when you have like just black on black, like just the same font, it doesn't direct your eye enough. Like there's a lot of information, and where like people would focus on one thing and not the other or something like that. So I figured I help people to you know, help them direct their eye. So if they're looking at the page, they're gonna look at, you know, this, maybe some education. You're gonna look at this most likely first, then go here and go here. And they'll focus on like the actual power statements I'm talking about here, and then they'll, you know, look at the dates in the place. So only thing I'm missing here is the location for these. I don't think that's really necessary. Most of these are remote, so um, and I don't really care about staying in one location. I do want to work remote more, so yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. My career coach says if location is necessary. I don't think so. I just didn't want to clutter it up some more. I do have a lot. Ended up having a lot of words on here. Hoping it's not too many words. Because when I look at other people's resumes, they look like they have so much better use of white space. But I'm like, what? I don't want to cut. There's not much else I can cut out. Like I can cut out this stuff maybe. Um, but then it will be harder to do the two column system that I have working out here. Like maybe I can put something like this on the on here and just expand these out, so it's more space. But I don't know. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think I have a pretty good resume here. I'm pretty proud of what I did. For a long time, I was just like, oh, how am I gonna make something that looks good? You know, because I feel like visual design is my weakest aspect. Um, but I feel pretty confident about this. So hopefully my career coach likes it. Hopefully um, people who are looking at this to hire me like it. And yeah, I know I've got to improve more. Always going to be more improvements. looking forward to what I'll come up with next, what feedback I'll get. Hopefully, it won't crush me. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. I do know that I have to add like my website. So when I get my website up, I'm gonna have to add there, maybe a LinkedIn profile. Um, but that will kind of kill my spacing here because I have pretty like I put 10-point spacings between like uh, line items and between titles and everything. Between sections, I put 30. Um, and within the section, I put 20. So it's consistent. It's like 10, 20, 30, right? And 40 for like these big sections. 30 or 40? I think it's 40. Yeah, it's 40. So yeah, it's consistent, but if I have to put like more here, then it won't be consistent. Unless I move this up, but then it won't be like I was at 50. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But looking good so far, I think. But yeah. Let me know what you think. Only other thing I have is my personal statement that I did a little bit more with. But I mean, there's no point talking about that now. You'll see it when I put it on my website. You know what I'm saying it'll all come together. I think it will make more sense in context because I can have a little elevator pitch or whatever in the front in the main homepage of the website. Then in my about me section, I can have expanded stuff. I was thinking about adding an inspirations, so I can put like people like Douglas Engelbart or um, what's his name, Brett Victor. Um, yeah, stuff like that. Maybe even Gary Vee, stuff like that. So I think that would be cool. But yeah, that is my page, my resume. Please let me know what you think. If you think this is a good resume, that'll be interesting to see people's feedback. But yeah, thanks again and see you later. Bye bye.